Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Hi and welcome back to another episode of Marketing with Confidence. Today we're going to talk about unlocking TikTok growth. I work with a lot of business owners that are more mature or have been in business for a long time, and TikTok seems to be, number one, a bit of a taboo topic. When I say that I spend a lot of time on TikTok, I often get strange looks as I'm, perceived as too old to be active on TikTok. And then when I talk about TikTok for businesses, most of my clients say to me, oh, TikTok's not really for me, or TikTok's for young people. And so I wanted to jump on today and talk about, number one, how fast TikTok is growing, and number two, how there are easy ideas for every business type that can be put in place to really leverage the power of TikTok. Like any new social media platform, you really need to get down to business fast and work out if your target market is on TikTok. And it may surprise you to know that TikTok isn't just full of young people, and as I said earlier, is really growing. So TikTok in Australia is now up to 4.2 million users. Instagram is sitting at 10 million users and Facebook at 19 million users. And these are active Australian users. So that's data around, how many people open the app, each month and engage with the app each month. So always surprises people to know that Facebook still has such a high reach. And I was having a great conversation with a client yesterday about, Facebook is very much a passive app now. We go on, we look at things, we leave. We don't tend to comment. We don't tend to like as much as we used to. But people definitely click links. And when it comes to ads, people definitely click links, buy and shop via Facebook. We see a lot of revenue attributed to actions taken from Facebook. Instagram at 10 million is still really only half of that Facebook penetration. And then, as I said, TikTok at 4.2 is, half of Instagram again. But as we start to see a growing following there and a growing usage there, if it feels right for your business and you feel your target market might be engaging there, I wanted to break down some ideas that you could use that are really actionable and easy and kind of can start you thinking about how you could leverage TikTok for your business. Now, of course, if you're looking to unlock TikTok growth, you are going to have to get active on the platform. So that means you're going to, number one, need to, engage in the platform, look at the content that you're being served and start to see for yourself the way that people present on TikTok. You don't want to take a strategy from Instagram or a strategy on Facebook and try to dump it on TikTok because it will crash and burn. As I've touched on before, Instagram, is still leaving its very curated feel behind, where TikTok is really like a buckle up rodeo in terms of what you're going to see. The less polished often is the better. And if anybody can smell that you are trying to sell something on TikTok, they will run a mile. So our TikTok content is really about building personality for our brand. It's about building that human contact, so very much humanizing our brands. I would say, unless you're going to be the face of your business or identify a face for your business, I wouldn't go down the pathway of TikTok because it would just be too hard to find something that aligns. And again, TikTok is very much about grabbing people's attention and keeping them hooked. And, we see that with Instagram Reels, but I think it's almost like 10 times pressure cooker when it comes to TikTok to grab people's attention. So my 5 ideas for you as a small business owner are all about people getting to know you better. And really, as I said before, we are not going to sell. Our call to actions are, inherent. We want people to experience us, be curious, be want to go off and do their own research, whether they click across to our Instagram profile or they go and look us up online. We want to generate a community around us, but what we don't want to do is a hard sell. And the first idea for TikTok that works pretty much for every business niche is a day in the life type content. People on TikTok love to understand what it's like to run your business. So a day in the life can be from you getting up in the morning, coming out of bed, going on a long walk, coming back, doing your makeup, having breakfast, dropping kids to school, sitting at your desk finally, the sorts of things you do within your day, getting home, cooking dinner. As mundane as it sounds, those fast edited clips that take somebody on that journey with a voiceover of you talking about what you do has so much reach and so much engagement. There's a lot of voiceover tools you can use as well, which can be quite fun. So you might choose to pick one voiceover type of voice for your day in the life content, so it's not yours. And some of those actually help to get traction as well. Day in the life can be quite a regular type of piece of content. Again, people like to understand, if you're a product-based business, what decisions are you making? If you're a service-based business, what sort of meetings do you have? Or, what does it look like when you actually sit down and do your work? It's that really, voyeuristic look into people's lives and into those businesses that gain so much traction. Very much a first-person narrative around come with me on a day in my life as a. The second type is really educational, personal type content. So obviously for many businesses, we've talked about educational content as a pillar on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn for years. Now think about presenting it without the graphics. Say goodbye to the Canva, carousel, and think about how you're going to personalize that educational content. So again, this could be you sitting down and talking about the top 3 trends you're seeing right now as an interior designer. If you're a baker or in a restaurant, this could be, the secret to your pastry making or, some tips for getting better pastry at home. If you're a mechanic, this could be car maintenance hacks or how to change a tire. So again, I really want that face to camera, bite-sized educational content. Think of it as a podcast that you're breaking down into 90-second snippets of value. When you have a call with a client and they ask you a question, write that question down and think about how you can make that face to camera. To up the ante on that educational, personal kind of content, I have to say it does work if you're doing something interesting too. So, obviously the example I gave were quite visual, but if you were going to, you're a real estate agent and you're going to talk about the 3 suburbs that are, that where sales have increased right now. Instead of just sitting in your office and doing that face to camera, it could be while you're packing your bag for a meeting and you're glancing back at the camera and talking as you're doing something. That element of doing something and sharing the educational content is actually quite powerful as well. So, cutting up video of you walking and talking through different environments as well. So you might film that whole 90 seconds in 3 different locations and then cut it together so people get a different feel of you throughout. The third one I want to talk about is personality or culture type content. This works more if you're a team. And honestly, for brands, so, for e-com brands where there is more than 3 or 4 people in the office, for agencies, whether that's, professional services, accountants, lawyers, digital agency, brand agency, any type of creative, any of the financial services, mortgage brokers, all those sorts of consulting agency models, the personality culture content is amazing in showing what we're like or showing that we like to have a bit of fun. I must say we focus a lot of this over on Wise Up Marketing's TikTok. And if you jump on TikTok and you have a look over there, you'll see a lot of our content isn't about selling. It's actually about showcasing what we're like as a team. So there's a lot of humor involved. We jump on a lot of the trends because we get a lot of reach out of that. It's also great for recruitment because it shows prospective employees what it's like to work with us, I can say that we receive a lot more resumes now for internships, for people looking for places to work. Now that our TikTok is actually more of that behind the scenes of our culture and our real personality, and people kind of have a feel. It's also a great way to showcase the faces of your business and get people familiar with not just who's in your business, but again, what their unique characteristics are like. So when a client's working with that particular person, they also kind of feel like they know them, and there's a bit of fun there as well. This sort of idea is very much trend-based. So it's about making time once a week to find a trend that really resonates and recreate it as your own. So there's a bit of time that goes into this one, but I can honestly say it's super actionable for small businesses. And I think it's really well received as well. The next idea for you is behind the scenes. Now, we do see a lot of this over on Instagram as well, and I think behind the scenes can work in a couple of different ways. So behind the scenes can actually be content where you're not talking, but you're doing what you do, and then you're overlaying a little bit of text and maybe putting a little bit more in the caption. Behind the scenes could be if you're a interior designer, it could be you going on a shopping trip and how you're engaging with different fabrics and products when you're out and about. If you're an accountant, that behind the scenes could be of you in a client meeting, or you on a Zoom, or you, on ATO page after ATO page. And again, what you choose to kind of layer over as a bit of a caption, or thinking back to day in the life, behind the scenes, you can also voice over and talk a little bit about something. But that behind the scenes content, is really quite easy to grab. You can set up a tripod and just try to capture more of what you do. Obviously, if you work in an e-com and you've got things like packing and order, that's great behind the scenes content that people like. If you've got, new stock comes in and it's being unpacked, again, great behind the scenes content that people like. And then my last really, actionable idea is wins and losses. And again, all of these strategies, because in each one we're talking about you personally engaging, you personally addressing your audience. Wins and losses could, fit in a few of the different areas, but people want to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly about what's happening in your business. So, wins, jumping on and saying, oh my gosh, I am so excited. We have just closed my absolute dream client, and here are the 3 things that I did to do it. Or, oh my gosh, we've just closed my absolute dream client, and here is the biggest piece of the strategy I can't wait to implement for them. Or, the losses and the things that go wrong. And I think with a real positive spin and a real community focused spin, I'm not a massive fan of misery marketing. I don't like necessarily when people come on and try to create affinity via sympathy, for want of a better word. I much prefer the losses to be presented in a positive light. So what I learned. So, but my biggest client left today and here's what I learned. Or I delivered a strategy and for the first time ever, the client hated it. This is what happened. We had a shipping bill that, put us into the red for 3 months. And this is why. These are the 3 questions I'll ask in the future before I price my products for sales. So I think it's, what are the wins and losses that will bring people along for the real journey of your business, but, in a positive light that are also educational, and that may attract more of your, people in similar businesses to you. So as I said, more around that business community necessarily than your target market. But I think it also gives your target market a real feel for who you are as a business, who you are as a business owner, and again, what it's like to do business with you, or, your passion that's going into that business as well, which I think is so critical for building that affinity. And, as we keep touching on, the more human your content is, the more people are going to want to do business because they're bought into not only the problems that you can solve, but do they want to support you, the person, and let you solve it for them, as opposed to a big business or a big conglomerate or buying overseas? So it's that, personal connection that we build that really builds that brand loyalty as well. So I really want you to think about TikTok with fresh eyes. I want you to think about how TikTok could be part of your strategy. Obviously that involves mapping out, how you're going to post, whether it's 3 or 5 TikToks a week, how you're going to engage on that platform, or who within your business can help you do this. I would definitely recommend brushing up your skills in CapCut and video editing, because that is critical, or find someone amazing that can help you out. If you're in Sydney, we run hands-on courses on how to edit videos for Reels and for TikTok, and I'd love to have you along on one of those. I'd love also to hear, if you do dip your toe into TikTok, what that's like for you, or if you have questions about your specific niche and how you could bring it on into life on TikTok, feel free to reach out over Instagram, or even TikTok itself. Thanks for listening today, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to marianneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.